Hello, students. It's nice having you once again on my online class. On that note, I say welcome to class. All right, in this lesson, I'll be teaching an interesting topic, which is how to make complaint. Now, complaint comes out of a result of not being happy, not being satisfied with whatever you bought or services rendered. All right, so this will lead to complaints. Now, the first in is, what is complaint? A complaint is a statement by an individual or organization that something is unsatisfactory or unacceptable. The party filing the complaint is usually called the plaintiff, and the party against whom the complaint is filed is called the defendant. Okay, there are various types of complaint. Basically, we have two types of complaint. The first is called the justified complaint, and then the other is unjustified complaint. We'll be taking them one after the other. Like I said, we have two types of complaint. Let's begin with justified complaint. Justified complaint is a complaint that has a proof. All right? It has a proof or an evidence that exposes violation of a policy provision, contract between the buyer and the seller. For example, poor service quality, late delivery of goods and services, and then unjustified complaint means no proof, no evidence of violating any form of policy provision or contract between the buyer and seller. In other words, no evidence to show that the complaint is justified. And then it will lead us to how to respond to complaint. So how do you respond to complaint as an organization? There are various ways of responding to complaint. We are going to take them one step at a time. We are going to begin with the first. The first thing an organization does to its various complaints is by opening and referring generally to the complaint sent in by its customers or clients. It begins by opening and referring generally to the complaint. And the second thing to be done after referring generally to the complaint, the second thing is apologize for the problem, whether it was your fault or not. You apologize. The second thing is offer compensation for justified complaint. Say how you will fix the problem. All right? That is the third thing to do. And the fourth thing is explain how, why the problem happened. In other words, there were reasons that led to the problem. You need to explain to them. All right? How did it happen? Why was there a problem? Your client or customer needs proper explanation. Okay? And the fifth thing to do is say what you will do to avoid a reoccurrence of the problem. Say exactly what you will do. And then the next is, for unjustified complaint, refuse the request. Optionally offer a one-time good gesture if you can, but once it's unjustified, you have every right to refuse the request. And the seventh thing to do is invite the customer to contact you if they have further concerns. And then the last thing to do is close with thanks for their feedback. Appreciate your customers, your clients for complaining. All right, you appreciate them. And that will lead us to the steps in lodging a complaint. There are various steps in lodging a complaint. Now, before you lodge a complaint, it has to follow this order. The first step is what you need to do as a plaintiff is, first of all, contact the seller or service provider. That is the first thing to do. You need to contact the seller or service provider and tender your complaint. It is when this seller or service provider refuses to attend or answer or give answer to your complaint, you go further by contacting the regulatory body concerned. For example, the CPC, which is the Consumer Protection Council, has the power to fight for your right as a consumer. All right? So that is the second thing to do. Contact the regulatory body concerned, and they will help you fight for your right. And then the last thing to do is take a legal action. You could go to court, you could get a lawyer, all right, to fight for you. That is also another way of lodging a complaint. Get a lawyer, take legal action, and allow the lawyer fight for your right. And then there are reasons for banning chemicals and also restricting of chemicals that are not suitable for use. All right? The government or consumer protection agencies have right to ban or restrict the usage of some chemicals. Now, why do they ban these chemicals? One, to protect human health and the environment from potential harm. That is one of the first reasons for banning chemicals, to protect human health and its environment from potential harm. And that will lead us to the second reason for banning chemicals. Once they observe that they are both harmful to man and his planet, it will be banned. So, certain chemicals could be harmful to man and his planet. So what do? They ban such chemicals, all right, to avoid such harm. And then reasons for restricting chemicals not suitable for use. One, if the chemicals have effect on the environment, then it has to be restricted. Once it is observed that it has effect on the environment, it will be restricted. And the second thing is, if there is a possibility of presenting any form of hazard, it will be prevented. Now, before chemicals are banned or restricted, it must be taken to the laboratory for proper test. And after that, it is approved that this chemical is not fit, and so it will be banned or restricted. All right, that will bring us to the end of this lesson. Please ensure you watch the video, understand, and then you provide answers to every question. All right, I will see you next class, but please, like I always say, stay safe.